Oh, hello, and good morning. Welcome to my incredibly awake reaction to the announcement of Kill Team Gallowfall at the Adepticon livestream, which was at 3 a.m. this morning. It's dedication for you. So, confirmation that it's Leagues of Votann versus Beastmen. So, I feel a little bit justified in celebrating here in that I totally called at least half of the set, right? I totally said it was going to be the Leagues of Votann with an upgrade sprue, and here we have the Leagues of Votann with an upgrade sprue. So that's really cool. Let's go through what we've learned from the preview, and honestly, it's not that much. So the leader here, we got the Thane with a plasma pistol, which is going to be obviously the leader. It looks like a power axe as well to me. Okay. We got a specialist here who is the lugger. So it sounds from the text and things that he's going to have some kind of abilities relating to picking stuff up and moving it around. Presumably, I don't want to call him a dog, but presumably, like the dog in the Arbeits team, they're going to have a faction tack up. That means he always has something to pick up, because of course there's not always stuff to pick up in the core missions now. In fact, there's almost never stuff to pick up, so I imagine he's going to have a faction tack up to give him something to pick up every game. Maybe he'll have extra action points, extra mission actions, that sort of thing. Who can say? Who can say? We've got here, we don't know the name of this, but it looks suspiciously like a comms, so I would suggest a comms. Over here with the space knuckle dusters, some kind of combat specialist. Looks like a basic troop over here to me. Yeah. We got the grenadier, so I think we all kind of can guess what a grenadier is going to go. It's going to have grenades for free. It's going to get to throw its grenades, presumably crack grenades and frag grenades. Somebody that knows more about the Leagues of Votann in 40k can probably tell me if they have plasma grenades or gas grenades or something. The Cognitar with a K is going to be some kind of support character. This is an Ironkin, so it's one of the little robot dwarves. I presume it's going to be some kind of support character with some kind of buff or possibly some kind of Auspex-like ability. We've got a jump pack warrior, which is interesting for given that this is an Into the Dark box, right? So they're going to be in corridors. But, you know, people still play open kill team. In fact, and they did confirm during the preview that this is going to be the last box of Into the Dark, and we're going back to the open world next season. So, presumably, for open games, normal, if you want to call them normal games, he's going to have Fly, which is pretty cool. But a bit of a weird include in this season, I guess, but it's still very cool. I have messed up the slide, and I have chopped the name of this off the bottom. It is a heavy gunner with, I think, something called a high-las rotor cannon, or rotary cannon. So you're going to have some kind of heavy gunner here. Forgive me, I've been up since 3 in the morning to watch the stream, so, you know, you can, you can, I'm sure, tolerate little errors like that. And then it looks like, slightly disappointingly, that we have 1, 2 normal troops. That might be a gunner. Is that? I'm not done your research, Phil. I'm not a Hearthkin expert, but this looks like it might be a special weapon. It's got some kind of energy cell clip going on there, whereas this looks like a basic trooper. So I would suggest it's going to be 2 gunners, right? Let me know in the comments that this is a special weapon. Probably is. I'm going to say it's 2 gunners. Probably, if you know the Votann kit, you know what other weapon options are on there. So presumably, all the weapon options are going to be available for those gunners. So I would suggest 2 gunners. And then, as you see here, the Jump Pack Warrior, the Cognitar, the Grenadier, Comms, Knuckle Duster Guy, your Thane. Thane might have weapon options. Again, if you know the Votann kit really well, let me know. A single normal warrior that you're forced to take. They seem really big on forcing you to take a single normal warrior in a lot of teams these days. Oh, sorry, we're not ready for those. And the Lugger. And I think that's your team. I did scrub through the video. I couldn't see any alternate builds or, special unrevealed miniatures. So that's what my guess is. That's what it's going to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10-man team, 9 specialists, including 2 gunners plus a basic warrior. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. A bit kind of by the numbers at this point. Like the kill teams are starting to feel very. Yep, this is how a kill team goes. But I dare say, if you like the Leagues of Votann, and you like their theme and their models, then you'll like this kill team. It seems to be everything that you would want from a Leagues of Votann kill team. And then we got the Beastmen. So this is our bespoke or artisanal, or this is the team that is not upgrade sprue based. Now, it was said on the stream that each one is a specialist. So you got your 10 goats here. Every single goat is a specialist. Now, we didn't quite get the names for all the goats, but each goat is a specialist. So we've got the Gnarlscar here. He has a metal hand. So I'm guessing he's going to be some kind of super survivable veteran. He's either going to have a damage reduction mechanic or a feel no pain mechanic, would be my guess. We got the Tox Horn here. Now, this is by far the coolest, in my opinion, of the Beastmen, because he's got his little gas mask on. He's got this bit has been a rumor engine part for ages, and we all kind of took it to be, or a few of us on the Discord anyway, thought it was going to be a grot throwing a smoke grenade. It is actually a Beastman hand, which is a little bit disappointing, but what are you going to do? So this is the Tox Horn. He looks like he's going to throw poison gas grenades. So hopefully for people that are hyped for Beastmen, it'd be something akin to the Hand of the Archon. Have a really cool Torment grenade. Maybe it'll be as good as that, right? Who knows? We got the Shaman. So we're going to have a Psyker, which is good. We need more Psykers in kill team. Looks like we got some kind of, like, I'm going to say these words a lot, but it's going to be a melee specialist. So it looks like we got some kind of barehanded, blindfolded melee specialist. We got some kind of double daggers. No, sorry, he's got 3 arms. Triple daggers melee specialist. Some kind of axe wielding melee specialist. And some kind of giant mace wielding melee specialist. So it looks like you're going to have 4 melee specialists. This is certainly going to be a melee team. They don't look like they have much in the way of shooting. It'd be really interesting. I think they operate in I don't think we have had a bespoke team that leans this hard on melee before. So it's going to be some quite interesting design space in that regard. So I'm pretty hype about that. We've got this Herd Goad guy with a whip. So I would guess that he's going to be something similar to the novitiates with the whip, so an APL, basically a comms, but like a short range comms who can whip extra action points onto the other goats with potentially, like the sisters, a movement buff as well would not be unreasonable. So that's what I'm guessing for there. The Death Knell. Now this is actually, it's not so clear in this picture. It's not a shield that he has. It's like a massive gong, because knell as in tolling a bell, right? So he's like bashing his gong and making a noise. So he's going to be another buffing character. So these are your 2 kind of buffing characters. So it looks like you got like 1, 2, 3, 4 melee guys, 2 buffing characters, a melee guy who does own a pistol and is like a tank, right? You've got a kind of a supporty, close-up, smoky grenade piece. You've got your range support potentially in your Shaman. And then we've also got our leader, who is the Iron Horn, with something called a Corrupted Pistol and a Chainsword. Well, he's only got a Chainsword. Corrupted Pistol must be quite good, so maybe some short-range fire support there as well. And those are the Beastmen, and I've left the word Marksman up here from the template because, again, it is very early. And then we can look at the terrain. So the terrain, again, it's the standard terrain. It's the standard set of sprues that we know and love, question mark. But it's the new accessory sprue. So this time we've got a med bay, which actually looks really cool. I like the med bay. And we've got stasis pods, which is cool, and a set of escape pods. It's interesting to me that the escape pods, and it as is correct, but if you remember the old Kill Team 2018 Rogue Trader box set, right? They have the same little plastic escape pods, so it's interesting to see the design is the same. I'm not saying that Games Workshop are doing that to be lazy. I'm just saying that Games Workshop have got that consistency in design there, so that's good. They also talked about some other games in the preview, so we've covered all the Kill Team stuff. I'm going to talk a little bit about new 40k. I'm not a 40k channel, or not yet anyway. So I'm going to leave the real hype here for the experts, but really just a note to say the new 40k looks really good. Like, I can find nothing negative to say about new 40k from everything they've shown so far. So when it comes out, I probably will cover it on the channel. I don't think the channel... I'm still going to be a Kill Team channel first and foremost, right? I'm not going to pivot into being a full-time 40k channel. But this does inspire me to pick up and play the new 40k. I really love the new Terminators. I love that they're massive. If you go and look, there's more pictures of this stuff on Warhammer community. I didn't want to turn this into a video about new 40k because it's a Kill Team channel, Kill Team video. But the new Terminators look really good. They have a really interesting scale. Really pleased to see them, so that looks really positive. Yeah, and they went through a lot of potential rules changes. You know, I've got the banners down here from the presentation that they did. So they have simplified the system. So the key thing they said over and over and over again is your army will be cards like this, plus a two-sided sheet, a double page of A4 with your mission rules. Not mission rules, with your faction rules. So your kind of faction special rules will fit on two sides of A4. And if you play a different version of your faction, so let's say you, instead of playing Space Marines, you want to play Salamanders, you will have a new 2-page spread of rules changes. So it doesn't layer on top of, so you'll have like a core Space Marine sheet, and if you want to play Salamanders or something, you throw that out, and you get the Salamanders 2-page spread. So it doesn't layer on top of, you don't give yourself more complexity, you're replacing, use the same data cards, and then replacing it with a different version of the faction. To me, this all seems really cool, and then they've layered in some of that complexity back on the data cards in terms of stratagems. There's going to be more core stratagems, but each army's only going to have 6 army-specific stratagems, which will change depending on which version of that army that you play. So that sounds, to me, that's everything I want from a new version of 40k. They have, like Kill Team, right? They've put the ballistic skill and the weapon skill in the stat block for the weapons. They've also put strength and toughness in melee. Strength, not toughness, I'm lying. Strength in melee is on the weapon stat now rather than being in the stat block here. We've got a new stat up here, OC, which is objective controlled. So what this is saying is that the Termagants count as 2 miniatures each for the purposes of controlling objectives. So something like a Terminator would have an OC stat of 1, so it would count as 1 miniature each for controlling objectives. And something big like a Knight might have an OC, they didn't give a number, but like have an OC stat of like 5 or 10 or 15 or something, so that the Knights can be balanced and actually play the objective game. So that sounds really cool as well. Some other interesting things that they said about this, you know, the boarding actions rules that are coming out in the Ark's Omen book are still fully compatible with 10th, and they're going to be one of the 2 exceptions only to the not having to take loads of books. So if you play boarding actions, you will need your boarding actions supplement books, and if you're going to play Crusade, they're going to be Crusade expansions and extra books that you need to carry along for that. But for normal match play, you'll just need your cards and this double-sided spread and the core rules, which is really good. They also said we are going to index hammer, so your codex is scrapped. I know that's going to really upset some people that play like Imperial Guard and World Eaters because they've not had their book for very long. But as a bit of a sweetener to that, they are making all of the index rules free on day 1, so all these unit cards will be a free download. They'll also be freely available on the app. You'll also be able to purchase the decks from Games Workshop if you want them on card stock. So that's pretty good. A lot of people have been asking for free. A lot of people have been asking for free rules, which is really positive. A little bit of minutiae about changes to the phases. So the morale phase is kind of rolled into the command phase now, so that's gone as a discrete phase. The psychic phase is gone as a discrete phase, and psychic powers just happen in the shooting phase, or the movement phase, or the command phase, or whenever they happen. What else did they say? They did say there was going to be less command points around, so you've got fewer things to spend your command points on, but you're also going to be more careful how you spend your command points. And Combat Patrol. So apparently they're going to have a version of the game now where you play Combat Patrol box versus Combat Patrol box, and it's somehow balanced. How you balance the Custodes Combat Patrol against the Imperial Guard Combat Patrol is a bit of a question mark in my mind. They did say that it might actually be slightly different data cards, like simplified data cards, for the Combat Patrol version of the game. So that might be a clue as to how that is going to work. We shall see. Everything else, they revealed more. There was a lot of reveals in this stream, and I'm not going to do them all justice here. The Lion, obviously. The Lion is a great miniature. Much better, in my view, than the Gulliman miniature. Like, I actually prefer the plastic... Touch wood, I'm pretty sure this is true. I actually prefer the plastic Lion miniature to the resin Forge World miniature. I could not say that about the Gulliman miniature. The Gulliman miniature looked like a toy. This looks really cool. I really like him. I don't play Dark Angels, so it's not something I'm picking up. I actually have a Fallen army / 30k Dark Angels army, and I was kind of sad. They didn't say very much about narratively where the Fallen are in all this. I assume they're going to be involved in some way. They did say this isn't the Lion Sword, this is a new sword, so Cypher's still kicking around the galaxy with the Lion Sword. They've not had their reckoning yet. That's not part of the plot for the Lion waking up, which is sad, because I kind of think that could be that's something they should explore. I know that they kind of want to keep the mystery going forever, but I love the Fallen, and I love to see them centered in the narrative. And I was kind of hoping we'd see a Luther miniature as part of this release, but what can you do? So I have a bunch of books to buy. As discussed, the Arcs of Omen books are still going to be viable in 10th. I've been collecting them anyway, so I'm going to collect all 5 of those. Looking forward to playing some Boarding Patrol. Probably not until 10th comes out, but I am looking forward to playing some Boarding Patrol. And it's great that it's still going to be, for all us kill teamers who are sitting on piles and piles of this Into the Dark terrain, it's great that it's still going to be usable as a 40k mode of play, as well as still being usable as a kill team mode of play. So you're going to get some use out of 2 sets of Boarding Patrol stuff. Speaking of Boarding Patrol, the Horus Heresy Siege of Chthoniya book, Black Books are back for the Horus Heresy, and one of the things in this book that's exciting, there's loads of stuff they said was going to be in this book, one of the things in this book that's pretty exciting is there's going to be new rules for Zone Mortalis. Now, this is still going to not be using the kill team terrain that we've all got. It's going to be using the older, wider Forge World, Zone Mortalis / Necromunda terrain, so you can fit dreadnoughts and things. But it's still cool. And if you're a big follower of the channel, you'll know that we've been playing some Horus. We've not played it in a while now. We've been playing some Horus Heresy. Stuff. So in the Zone Mortalis, so it'd be great to have some proper missions for that. Really looking forward to that book as well. 3 new Age of Sigmar codexes. Mrs. Ti will want the Seraphon codex. I'm kind of scared about how many plastic Seraphon Mrs. Ti is going to want, but there we go. People often say how lucky I am to have married someone that's also into the Warhammer hobby, and that's true. It does get very expensive with 2 Warhammer fans in the house. But there you go. Soul Black Grave Lords and Ossiarch Bone Reapers are both getting the new book plus single hero treatment, so they're getting the books out quickly for Age of Sigmar. Notionally, if I play Age of Sigmar, I play Soul Black Grave Lords, so I guess I'll pick up the Soul Black Grave Lord book as well. The new miniature is... I'm really torn on this model. I really like it, but I also don't... As a general thing, I don't like the werewolf vampire faction. I like a lot of the framing of the miniature. I like the bats. I like the kind of axe and the torso. But then the wolf legs just kind of like, well, not my thing. So probably not picking up that model. I might waver and pick it up. It's 1 miniature, right? So it's not a huge thing that I need to plan. There was also a new Underworld set, which was really meh. The only part of the whole presentation that I thought was negative was the Underworld set. The Tzeentch stuff looked like it was some leftovers from Silver Tower, and the Stormcast just looked like more Stormcast. It's pretty cool because they're Wizard Stormcast in the new proportions. So they're like Primaris Wizard Stormcast. So if you like the Wizard Stormcast from a couple of books ago, now you've got some in the newer proportions, which is cool, but Stormcast just don't do it for me. I'm sorry. Final thoughts. Let me know down below what you think. That's the most important thing to me. Crucially, this might be the first Kill Team box that I skip. Not that there's really anything wrong with it, right? And there shouldn't really be a stigma around not collecting every Kill Team box. I'm quite, this is not me saying it's a bad box. It's just not for me. I don't want to play Beastmen or Squads. Neither of those factions grab me as something that I want to play. Because I have a channel and because I'm a completionist, I will probably pick up the Gallowfall book on eBay from somebody who's buying the box to split out the different bits and sections. Part of me is like, I should really buy the narrative terrain. Truthfully, I haven't done anything with the narrative terrain, but the collector in me is like, well, if I see the narrative terrain sprue going for a song on eBay, I might pick it up just to sort of have it, and get the book as well, so that I can do some content with the book. But for me, the miniatures don't grab me, so this is going to be a box that I'm probably going to skip. I don't need to spend 110 quid on terrain I don't need, and 20 models that I also don't want. Right, because I'm a massive Imperium aboo, and they haven't put any Imperium in the box, just to kind of upset me. If there'd been an Imperial Tax Collectors team in the box, I would have picked up the box. Mrs. T.I. usually likes Chaos stuff, but she doesn't like Beastmen. Now, she isn't awake, so she hasn't actually seen the Beastmen. She might come thundering down the stairs and be like, oh, the new Beastmen look really good, but I doubt it. So let me know your thoughts on that. Anyone out there like me that's bought every box so far and is skipping this one? Be interested to know. I hope you enjoyed the summary. It does take a lot of personal kind of effort to leave myself out of bed at 3 in the morning. I went to bed at 8 p.m. Got up at 3 a.m. So 7 hours. It's kind of enough sleep. Although circadian rhythm is important, so I'm gonna suffer a little bit with jet lag type symptoms, I suppose. I am sorry about the lack of content lately. Obviously, I've done all this now, and I have to jump up and get washed and dressed and go to work. It's about 10 to 6 now, so I've got about half an hour before I have to start my morning routine. Hopefully this kind of extra effort here makes up for the lack of content lately. I've been really ill. I did a longer video on this for the members, so if you're a channel member, you got a real behind the scene video. Basically, I had a chest infection, which I have to be really careful about, because obviously I was in hospital with COVID, and I have quite weak kind of lungs and stuff in that regard. And then I had a sinus infection from the chest infection, and I had to pause this video. You may have seen me grip my nose a couple of times. I had to pause this video a couple of times. My ears still aren't right. So if anyone's got any folk remedies for tinnitus, right? I still have really bad ringing in this ear, and the ear feels a bit kind of sticky and gluey, and I should get to the doctor, but big work deadlines, and obviously people say don't monitor yourself for your job, but it's a bit different way. I already took 4 days off work. If I took much more time off work, my current year 11s literally wouldn't get their coursework in, and they wouldn't get their GC. I'm the only this is becoming too much of a personal rant, but basically, I'm the only teacher of computer science and IT at my school, and I know from experience that if I'm off, they can't replace me with any agency staff, because nobody with a CS degree wants to go into teaching, because they all want to make loads of money in tech, which makes sense, right? So, there's a lot of pressure on me, but then in a week's time, I'm getting 2 weeks off, so I will use some of my Easter holiday to go to the doctor. It's sad, isn't it? And say, look, my ears aren't right. But the NHS website says, tinnitus can last for weeks, and then it just clears up, or it doesn't, and you have to learn to live with it. So that, yay. Do like, comment, subscribe down below. I'm absolutely indebted to the channel members who nobody's cancelled. The channel's been really light on content for about a month now, and nobody's cancelled their subscription. So thank you so much. That means that actually means more than I can probably convey without descending into big soppy sop. So thank you for that as well. That means a lot. And if you would like to consider becoming a channel member, there's a button. There's a whole secret extra video that plays if you click the membership button, and then you can access some more intimate whiskey-filled fireside chats. Well, there's no actual fire, but that's the vibe we're going for. Thanks everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again in a day or two, and not totally like ignore the channel again. All right, bye bye.